thing, and like not a second later, the thing explodes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's got a self-destruct mechanism in it.
Yep. So.
Sounds like you had an exciting day then.
Yeah.
I had a very boring day. I was doing a bunch of paperwork. I updated the penal code. It took me 7 hours.
Really? Okay. I'm gonna look through that later.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I don't really think anything really material has changed except for like some new possession charges. Obviously, obviously a lot of stuff material changed, but I mean, like, we essentially just took the definitions that that Nino and Princess did with Rizal, and we put them into the penal code itself. We didn't really, because a lot of them were just like wrong compared to what the legislation said. So most of it was like a transcription process, and then updating the fines and times to match with what it should be. And there was some charges that they missed in their initial translation, so we reinserted the ones that were important and didn't put the ones that weren't. So just an overall update. The main thing that's changed is like a lot of charges that were really small have been updated with their time and their fine. And then obviously corruption is now a HAG, because I think corruption
the timing
needs to be
on
treated
that's
more
hilarious
seriously than it is. So yeah, that's something we probably shouldn't talk about.
Yeah.
If you guys want me to keep going over the things that you're sending my way. So
yeah. No, we won't.
But I actually have something else I want to talk to you about on that kind of level. I got a text from the Archivist yesterday. And it was one of the gifts that I like to tweet out. You know how I used to, I would tweet out like silence, the alpha is typing. I would put that on Twitter and I did shit. He said, this seems to be a popular one with you. And then he sent me that GIF and I started freaking out.
Was it on Twitter or?
I like Twitter and text. I would text it and do in Twitter and all that.
Fuck.
But here's the thing though. He called me about 30 minutes ago, 50 minutes ago.
Oh.
Very like right after I walked out of my house, I got a call from him. And it was a very concerning call at first. I was worried that he was trying to, he kind of was pressing me. Essentially, he wanted me to guess why he was interested in me. And I brought up how there was, because he'd been tweeting about Sanguine and like government secession protocols and banks. And I was thinking that, you know, maybe he was interested in the Sanguinians and he was interested in actions that were being taken there. And he said, no, he was more interested in how we have not been learning in the lessons from the past and we're repeating them today and how history is echoing itself.
Yes. Okay. That's not good either.
No, that's not good either. And then he brought up Kyle Pred. He said, as an example, he said, look at Kyle Pred, who is corrupt as hell, serving in these government positions and what's being done about it. And then I pointed out how, you know, we actually are doing things about that one. As like a society, we as a society. And
tell that bitch to rehack everything, right? He didn't see the docket post.
Well, I told him about that. I said, how could you imply that I'm acting like corrupt or being influenced by Kyle Pred? Because he brought up the house. He brought up how I lived with him. I said, how could you act like I'm being influenced him by I'm agreeing with these injunctions and I'm allowing these motions to go through and I'm ruling fairly.
Wait,
and I'm
she's living with him still?
Legal opinions,
yeah,
regardless of anything else that's occurring. And he didn't really have anything else to say on that. And then he kind of started moving on to how something big was coming, something huge. And he started talking about the grant corruption specifically.
So I can shed some light on this. I'm sure you're aware when it comes to a lot of these sort of like long-term investigative things, 80% of it is speculation. And I think I've been putting a lot of thought into it. I think because 80% is speculation, right? We get like this dot here and this dot there. We have to kind of like connect them and then presume what we see. And sometimes those answers might be a little crazy, but sometimes they're right. But in the midst of this like fog of speculation is I think sometimes where the feeling of being not in the know comes from, right? So I lay that out because I'm going to tell you what I think may be happening. And this is based on a conversation from yesterday. So we have a marshal in every shift that is overseeing the archivist. Same goes with the faceless. And to kind of lay sort of the groundwork for this is the archivist in the past, leading up to Junior Huntley's getting missing. What had happened was, for the month prior to the archivist kind of dipping, individuals, criminals, and otherwise started to utilize the archivist for their own personal desires. So, like, for example, you know, the Miller situation, right? There was ADMC, Shang Lu got his records to see what actually took place. And then towards the tail end, you had like even Brandon Valentino or Frederick White trying to get mine. Why? Because they needed information for their terror org. Now, throughout those months, the archivist was in communication with us, with other detectives in both departments, but the data was like all over the place, right? Not everything was getting written down. However, the last call that I had with him inferred that the series of puzzles that he was sending to detectives was meant as a litmus test such that we may protect ourselves from an actual black hat, right? Are you familiar with white hats and black hats?
Not particularly the specifics, no.
So white hat hackers are ones that, you know, like, for example, hack like a evil regime's like website, right? Or get information that is intended for the greater good, right? And then you have black hats who are like, you know, break in, get credit card information. And then gray is the ones in the middle. Well, the archivists in many ways were kind of in the white or kind of in the gray, right? They just wanted people to have information. Like, for example, the government hiding secrets from its people, right? They may see that as being benevolent. And they would archive this data such that, you know, people, it would never be lost into time. It couldn't be deleted by government entities. But what happened is that Junior tried to set up the archivist, right? He made it seem like he had killed him. None of this was true. But between the Junior situation and people sort of abusing the service that he had provided, he disappeared. And then he reappeared. This is the day that Blunt was shot with a 50 caliber sniper rifle while he was up on the roof here. And the sniper shot came from over there. And our power went out. We were then granted access to a website, which sort of gave some of the background, and I'm going to skip some of the details just to kind of get to the main point because I'm realizing I've been talking for a minute.
It's okay.
They have said in not so simple terms that they are no longer going to be the nice guy. If violence is necessary, they will conduct it as they did that day. Maybe not as brazenly as the faceless, but rather them shooting Blunt was a way for them to say that if someone comes at them again in the way that they did, they will not hesitate to hurt. Secondly, the power nodes that have been going out, and some are being done by the faceless, maybe some breaking into Bolingbroke, but with the archivist, he's able to actually physically or electronically overload the transponders, setting them on fire, turning down every fucking system, and then all these little twatter messages that are going out are logs of him trying to break into government systems. You, as of last night, were one of those. Now, here's where we go into the crazy bit. Do you remember having a bit of a dream?
I do, yeah.
You're not the first one.
Wait, really?
No. We don't really know exactly why. I mean, you've probably heard of VR, right?
Yeah, I've heard of VR.
Okay. What if I were to tell you you may have thought you were somewhere, but you were still where you were, but you just had an experience based on some sort of device that was able to sort of fool your mind into thinking that you were in some other location?
That sounds pretty crazy, Brian. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Denzel.
Because wouldn't that imply that whatever this device is could interface with my neurons, right? And that's pretty dangerous, no? We're talking like brain hacking or some shit.
Yeah. Denzel also experienced this about 2 months ago. Now, this is where things get strange, right?
Okay.
You've probably seen some of the things that PDBot has been able to do, right?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of it firsthand.
Yeah. Is it unreasonable for the Archivist to do very similar? Now, the reason that this has kind of like been the latest development is not just because of your experience, but the experience with Denzel about a month back. Were you on that call by any chance? Do you know what I'm referring to?
I don't think I do off the top of my head. No, maybe if you start giving me details, it might refresh your memory. But I don't know if I was there. Are you talking about when he got kidnapped?
Yes.
Yeah, I was one of the people that found him.
Oh, on the beach, right?
Yeah, on the beach. Yeah, I helped look around for evidence.
We believe he experienced the exact same thing. However, that was PDBot. Now,
you're saying that PDBot might have imparted some of his technology to the Archivist?
Especially after the Archivist.
Or he might have stolen it?
Yes. Now,
Brian, do you remember? You know what my arm was transfigured to do, right? Like, you know, it's gone through specific upgrades. Were you aware of any of this information? I'm sure I told you all this to you, no?
It's possible, but probably not something I retained.
Well, let me tell you this. Okay, when we were at the height of the PDBot concern, I met up with I forgot his name, Harry Osgorp or whatever from Osgorp Industries.
Oh God.
And he agreed to help me put a factory reset switch into my arm to shut down.
Wait, the Green Gobbler or a different one?
I don't know who the Green Gobbler is, but he was just a nice guy in a business suit.
Oh my God.
But he met up with me and he said that he had the blueprints to help me install a kill switch into my arm. So we unsocketed my arm and he basically started tooling around with it. And he did some microsurgery on the socket in my nerve and my joints. And essentially he opened up the neurons inside the neural like inhibitors inside of my arm, because that thing uses a sinosaural AI core essentially to manage its operations, right? Essentially it enables my brain to communicate with my arm more directly, and removed a lot of the safeguards. And he did inform me that there was a possibility of adverse action being taken through that node, which is why I've been very hesitant to use it against PDBot. But my arm doesn't have Wi-Fi or anything. It's not like someone could just remote hack it. You know, it's not connected to the internet. You have to have it in your possession.
You just reminded me of something.
What's
okay.
That?
This is a hyper sidebar, but Osglorp Industries is related to the Green Gobbler who plans to blow up Carmela's thing at 4 p.m. today. So, yeah. I completely forgot.
Wait, the guy that did my arm surgery is the Green Gobbler?
Look, I need you to, like, what I'm about to say, understand that I don't actually fully believe this, but I have to still, you know, I'm gonna say it, okay?
Okay. I
met Spooderman yesterday after at the nudist colony, and it's on tape. All right. I arrived on scene late where Spooderman was present. This sounds so fucking retarded. I can't.
No, tell me more. Tell me more about Spooderman, please.
And the Green Gobbler and his minions had attacked McNulty. And it's on tape with Frank and Nora. And Spooderman said that he needed our help in order to get the Green Gobbler back to his timeline from which they came 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Now, the green gobbler is the guy in all green that flies around in the little like, you know, rocket propelled, like, you know, tech. The same one that put Faulkner into ICU. And
okay, so
yeah,
that's a lot to take in.
now I put this on the side because imagine everyone is a supervillain for a second out of a comic book, right?
Yeah.
And I say this more for narrative rather than any of this necessarily being fact, because there might be scientific reasons for all of this, right?
Sure.
But let's take the green gobbler and the his helpers. You've got the faceless, you have Norman Bones, you have Pestilence, and then you have the Archivist. Some of them are, and then you've got PD Bot. These things all may separately look like something. Like we look at it, we look at these things in a certain way. However, when they start to cross paths with one another, things get a little confusing, right? I want to let's put all those other dishes on the side. The Archivist met with Mr. Blue 3 days ago, right?
Okay.
I then received a phone call. In that phone call from the Archivist, as Charlie was watching over me, he was up on a hill. I'm sitting down, speaking to it with Alfonso Sebastian to get some like information on the faceless from a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the Archivist, firstly, knows I'm speaking to him. He secondly admits that he was at this meeting the marshals came up on with Mr. Blue and a bunch of assets out in the middle of nowhere, 2 miles off the coast of Polito.
Mm-hmm.
What that meeting was about, he refused to say, but he said the following: that while the faceless and the Archivist may not agree on the same methodologies on how to go about their way of doing things, and may not agree on pretty much anything, there is one thing that they agree on, and it has something to do with a reset or starting anew.
Reset.
Yeah. Now, the second thing that he said was that, fortunately or unfortunately for the faceless, that this thing that they are jointly working on is dependent on him, the Archivist, and for him to finish his work. Now, mind you, this was very cryptic, right? So this could mean a bunch of different things. It could mean the wiping of the accounts, which is something that we feared for the past 2 months. But that could also just be completely incorrect, right?
I mean, that's a lot to take in.
And mind you, yesterday, so as a consequence of this, and we're not the only ones that are kind of thinking it. A lot of people are hoarding gold right now. I had cautioned both Dawn and Mayor Denzel about a high level security risk, and within 30 hours it seems like that got out from one of their cabinets. I think it's Denzel's. I then had a follow-up conversation with Denzel, like, listen, dog, you might have these clean friends around you, but it doesn't mean they're yapping to their friend gangs, right?
I don't think a single one of his cabinets clean when you really look at them.
No, hell no. You got JJ, and then you've got the one from Chaos Legion. They're both faceless assets.
Yeah. But they're faceless assets.
Yeah. Well, okay. JJ, JJ, I can say with confidence. We just, As for what's her name, Peggy?
Ryan,
question mark.
Right, maybe the Archivist is right.
Oh, we're fucked.
Maybe the Archivist is 100% right.
Oh yeah, we're fucked. Look, Angel, I don't think we're ever gonna win the war against the faceless. The faceless is a multi-international investor backed organization.
And we're the state of San Andreas, Brian. We took down the Sanguinians. We can take down these stupid face fucks.
I think we can win the battles, just not the war, right? You know, you ever see those like movies where like an alien takes over? They never kill the aliens off.
Mm-hmm.
But they make it very difficult, and then the aliens fuck off. That's how I look at the faceless, right?
Are we the aliens, or are we killing the aliens?
No. We're the people. We're the people that are like, no, we don't want to get probed. What the fuck? Well, everyone's getting probed all around us. And then, like,
I see.
gaslighting everyone into why it's like fine to get probed by aliens. You know?
Oh yeah.
But in this case, the probe is blue.
We're not the world police, okay? We could barely take care of our own, but we could stop these guys, right?
Their base, I don't even believe is on this island, right?
I would believe it. I don't see why they would have it here.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, unless we fire intercontinental.
It'd be pretty obvious if there was, no?
Yeah. I think their most local base is actually in the center of Mount Chiliad. Ex Cerberus. This is like I'm telling you kind of thing, you know what I mean? Not something that.
Yeah, I got you. Well, gonna be honest with you, Brian. A lot of this is highly concerning to hear.
Yeah.
But I think we have the people to take these motherfuckers on head on.
There is a real chance that later this week, or in the next 2 weeks, every single cent in our accounts goes to zero. Maybe even our currency completely goes to shit. So even if we end up pooling it up, it doesn't matter. Right?
You know,
but I also think that Brian, might be a calculated panic.
By who?
By the faceless. They don't work very like anything that they make you think they're doing is not what they're doing. And that has always been the case. Is it possible they wipe our accounts? Sure. But there's always a second and third reason. There's what they show you, right? There's the magic, you know, the what everyone sees and what they get fooled into believing is their main intent. But then there are the things that they do in the background. For example, this whole situation with Ming Jintai, right? Was it for Ming or was it for someone else? We know it was for someone else. The explosion at the Life Invader where Frank and Nora were taken and they took down that facility. It wasn't for the Chronicle bot getting taken down. It wasn't for releasing an article. That was just a distraction. The real reason was they uploaded their entire infrastructure to a location we cannot reach.
I see.
Is that so?
So what's the real? You're essentially getting at what's the real motivator behind this?
Bingo.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Brian. I don't know anything about these guys or their motivations. So anything I would be telling you would just be pure conjecture.
Well, you say that, but that's quite frankly how this whole thing works, you know? Nobody knows, but the best we can do is take the knowledge that we do have and kind of like get ahead of it. And that's how we've been successful, to be honest. I look at it like everyone on this island has the opportunity to have some pieces to the entire puzzle. But unless we're willing to put those all on the table, we're not going to see what that puzzle, what image is getting created. You know what I mean?
True. That's a good point.
Yeah. I know I distracted away from your initial
Oh, it's okay.
thing with the phone call.
It's all right.
I think they wanted your credentials to do something with the bank. We just don't know.
I don't have. I mean, listen. The only credentials that they would be able to use would be the encrypted key card that I use to access those accounts. But that's something that you can't just get on the internet. You know, you can't just hack into me and steal that. Every time I go to the bank and I hand it over, that's that. That's that. You know.
Some of the latest logs had them failing at a Brittany Angel account for MDT/bank. We don't know what that means. That could be a MDT data bank. It could be your electronic banking credentials stored in the MDT system. But we're recently trying to get a engineer hired into SASM who can help us try to understand this, because a lot of the legacy systems that the city runs on, we don't have direct access to, right? In fact, we tried to petition the state to try to figure out where the system is stored, and they won't tell us. They said it's too sensitive. Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, Ryan. It's probably somewhere really obvious and stupid.
Might be in the FIB building.
That is possibility. It could be behind that locked door in the FIB building. It could be in the Brittany Angel Justice Center.
And just so you're aware, since you are the Chief Justice, I've been giving very specific orders if anyone tries to go through those gates.
Oh, okay.
If you know what I mean.
No, I don't think I do know what you mean, Brian. I'm not really picking up what you're putting down there.
The door at floor 39 in the FIB building cannot be entered.
Okay.
No matter what.
Cannot at all costs be entered, or? Well, okay, well, good to know. Brian, I'll have you know, this should actually make you very happy. I did receive some suspicious login attempts. Actually, I got an email the other day. So I reactivated two-factor authentication, and I changed my password on my MBT. So we should be good. I used the suggested strong password, too.
Oh! Wait, say that again. Sorry, I was internally laughing at how I'm not answering the question intentionally.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. I was just saying, you know, after those notifications were sent out on Twitter, I did receive some suspicious login attempts that were caught on my Gurgle. And so I went through and I updated my two-factor authentication and I changed my password away from Hunter 2.
Oh.
And I used the
why would you use Hunter 2?
Because I thought it was the least likely one to guess. But luckily for me, I did have that phone alert on, so I caught it in time, so they weren't able to get access. So they're probably gonna have a tough time cracking the password. They're gonna have to do something else to get in, I bet.
Yeah, it's all guesswork right now. You should see this nerd. He's like a dungeon and dragon warlock.
Yeah.
I don't know. Him and Sparks were talking weird stuff. Like not weird stuff, like sex, but
like Springfield?
No, not like that. Like, I don't know, some computer language or whatever. But
okay.
He's probably going to be our best. We're working in speculation. He's going to be. We're actually making him a little bedroom over here. He's going to live in the observatory.
Oh, that's cool. And then you can put him over here in the corner, and he can just spend all day working.
Yeah, he's not amused with our setup over here, so we're going to have to get him a supercomputer or something. I don't know.
It's too ancient for him.
Yeah. But he's probably going to start to provide some kind of insight. It's like, I don't know. It's like, how do you battle the internet? I don't think you can.
That's like to ask you, how can you battle the ocean? You can't.
There's so many of them.
Yeah. Impossible. Well, you know, cybersecurity is a pretty scary thing to be dealing with, Brian. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
It always freaks me out every single time this conversation comes up. So.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if there's anything truthfully that I can do as Chief Justice to help, really. So
I would say I would note down your experiences, because similar to what I noticed last time is the archivist, if he contacts you, it's more than just for a scare. It's often because he's intentionally telling you something that is not obvious in the moment. But when paired with other information someone else may have, it reveals either intent or a clue to a challenge, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, he was pretty direct in my conversation with him. Told me that the big one was coming.
Yeah.
Any day now.
Sanguine has certainly been referenced the last 48 hours. He's almost implied he's got access to the old records leading back to Sanguine.
He might, because he sent out a picture of the Sanguinians in front of the castle. He very well might. But I don't know. He's the thing is, like, I'm not entirely sure how much to take his word, because in one breath he says to not worry about the Sanguine stuff directly, and it's more so he's just trying to draw parallels to history that we haven't learned our lessons from.
Yes.
When he maybe could just be trying to cover up, he does care a lot about it, quite a bit, you know?
I think it lines up with what he had previously told us, is that he believes information is freedom, right? And leading up to Sanguine, and I think it's the biggest mistake that was made. I remember being in the meeting and being told that we couldn't bring the news, that we couldn't tell the public why we're going to war. Even our own department didn't really know, and I wasn't even allowed to say. It's not that I wasn't allowed to say, I was like heavily restricted. And it never made sense to me. Why would we not galvanize the city and point at the weapons and point at the connections and point at, the undercover operations? Because if the entire city was aware of the facts, then they can make a rational choice as to what side to support. But instead, many people went to Sanguine to fight a war thinking it was unjust, when, I think they may have thought otherwise had they known the truth.
Yeah, if they'd known the information, they would have been more important.
I mean, even today, there's people out there that will be like, well, are the faceless really that bad?
That's because, Brian, I think we do a really bad job at informing people as police officers, when I say we, I'm more referring to like the entire government, truthfully. When things happen, these state emergencies go out, we don't necessarily have a way to conveniently broadcast to everyone the information that they should know,
I mean, I've been trying my best. And take a look at this. Hold on 1 second. I'll put it on the ground. There we go.
Okay. Is this the City Chronicle?
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want me looking?
Well, any of the pages, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, but these are great, and people.
They're not reading.
They don't read it.
I don't know what to do.
Well, we need to deliver it in a way that's more convenient for them.
I even sat here for 2 hours with both departments, and they still say we don't tell them anything. What am I supposed to do?
Here's what we do.
I'm getting a TikTok editor.
Here's the thing, okay? You know how okay. So here's something that I've been kind of mulling over in my mind, and I want to bounce off you a little bit. So the Department of Justice, as we are, is kind of mirrored off of the United States to a degree, right? And the Department of Justice is to a degree. Well, yeah, I know, but we try to do the good
God.
Right? But just hear me out, okay? Just hear me out. Just hear me out, okay? One thing that they do is they will they will discuss things with the public. They'll host press conferences. They'll get up there and they'll have someone that's responsible talk about investigations and reveal information and inform the public about what's going on to a degree, right? And I think that's something that we have not been doing because, well, frankly, I don't want to step on law enforcement's toes and reveal things that you guys might be working on. But I would like to do that. Why can't we just say, get everyone to the fucking the observatory? Everyone in the city, come up here. We need to talk.
I'll tell you why I'm afraid of it. And I wrote legislation, or Blunt did, and we've been trying to get the mayors to look at it. Don is down with it, but Denzel keeps saying he'll do it, but then he doesn't. I'm like, I have a photo of Mr. Blue, like 4K, where it's finally enough to write up charges for enemy of the state. Yeah. I'm going to release that to the Chronicle. Now, that is so that the public knows who we're dealing with, right? They need to know who that is. You don't just hide the photo of Osama bin Laden, right? And because then is it their fault? Is it anyone's fault at that stage if they, I don't know, go get tea with him, you know what I mean? And then the FBI kick the doors open. It doesn't.
You put that shit up on CNN and Fox News and let everyone see it.
The problem is the deeper stuff, right? Like for me, there's levels I want to tell the mayors and you, right? Because you need to be informed. It doesn't make any sense if you don't. What the fuck is the point of SASM if the heads of the government entities don't know the threats that are happening? It doesn't make sense.
Exactly.
But when it comes to the public, my genuine fear is because it's not clearly outlined, and I'm sure you understand to a degree, the headache comes from you release someone as something and then you got, the leak argument, right? So, Well,
I don't think it's leaking to inform the public about a terrorist organization and the shit that they're doing to the public,
You're intelligent, though.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, like, I'm also the one who is in charge of the laws and interpreting the laws. So
I guess I'm making almost a political argument that having a sort of... So I'm going to actually send you the thing that we wrote up. It's... you may have seen on Twitter, like the release the files thing I started doing with Danger, and then and then we got... So the idea was that we would put together releases. The DOJ would say, okay, cool, stamp it, just in case there was a fear. And then that information could be fully released to the public, both old reports as well as reports believed to be relevant to the public. So similar to, it's a declassification act, effectively. And not only is it a show of good faith to the public, right? But also, like, if something's 2 years old, people should know, right? And let them make their own minds. And
I agree. I'm 100% on board.
Yeah.
Listen, why don't you give the legislation to someone who actually do something with it?
Can I give it to you?
Yeah, send it my way.
Okay, easy.
This honestly sounds like something that's in my purview more so anyways, because the DOJ is the one that essentially allows law enforcement to exist. So yeah, this is probably for us to handle it.
Yeah, I think it gives it a lot more. You're not wrong about it's probably not leaking and whatever, but it's that political edge of I'm not wanting my marshals getting shit off of rumors, but in the same light, neither should anyone who's not pressing charges. I
100% agree. And legal protections could be good to codify a process. So I'm down. Not a problem. Send it to me and I can review it.
Okay.
I'm going to be only available for short hours today and tomorrow, though. So maybe not. I can give you some
take your time. Look, we've been waiting like 2 months for this. So I'm even if it was another 2 weeks, like, it wouldn't
go that long. I move pretty quickly, Brian.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that I touch, I don't like to wait. I hate sitting around doing nothing with things.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah. All right. Fuck yeah.
As long as I'm making sure that things are being done properly, that's what matters to me. So.
Okay. Hell yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I really had to tell you. I should mention though, I did have another contact with PD Bot. It was basically him kind of wrapping up the ties and essentially being like, well, with with Pred being out of the chief of police position, I guess have nothing else to live for. So I guess I'm really sad. I'm like, no, you're PewDiePie. You're so cool and stuff. You don't have to do that. And he's like, no, I'm not gonna kill myself. But like, I just don't. I didn't. Essentially, it was him going over his emotions and how. No, Brian, no. Please don't like this. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, please.
Okay. But he was basically just talking about how he felt emotionally dead inside him now that Pred was out of power and he got what he wanted. And he didn't really know what to do with himself going forward. And that was basically him kind of wrapping things up. And then he said there was a big threat on the horizon, a league of villains or something, and he flew off playing Michael Bay music. So,
Jesus fuck.
I feel like Storm Protocol might be quelled for now, based off what he told me.
Jesus.
Which is good, because I know that Denzel was scared about getting destroyed by PewDiePie, so.
Yeah, there's so much fucking going on.
That's a lot.
Man, that attack is at 4 p.m. I gotta go call Carmela. I gotta make sure I got units. Apparently, Gloop Corp is going to be attacking this evening.
Osglorp?
Osglorp, yeah. And
I'm not going to lie, but I'm kind of concerned that I let the guy from Osglorp touch my arm and do that shit to it if he's actually a terrorist.
I don't want to, like, make you think I'm crazy, but there's a possibility of timelines and, you know how we got the news rep recently?
Hey, man, what's up?
Yeah.
Bye.
How much, that wasn't an accident.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
Cerberus did a lot of R&D.
Mm-hmm.
And there is always the possibility, Einstein's theory of relativity in multiple dimensions, and depends like how you look through, have you ever watched Interstellar?
Yeah, I've seen Interstellar. Really good movie.
Yeah. You know what? Some things can never be explained properly.
What do you mean by that?
Well, what if I told you I went back in time?
I would be curious on how the hell you managed that.
And then I spent 6 months grinding news rep while making sure that I didn't affect anyone or anything to cause the butterfly effect. But at the end of all that grinding, I strangled the news guy, the news boss.
I wouldn't believe you, because I feel like you would not put in the time and the effort to go grind news for 6 months.
I had to, because I needed to get the camera that Miguel O'Marion gave me, because they planted one in the Epsilon building where they have their meetings. The faceless.
So you got sent back in time.
But I needed it the next day
to grind news rep.
Yeah. And then I came back and I was just fucked up from, it's hard to explain. I was like fatigued. So I took a day off finally. And that's the day that Charlie was kidnapped and everyone got news rep. Everyone the news guys just completely forgot it was needed.
I see. Brian, I think maybe it'd be good if you don't have to work so hard. It's okay to take a deep breath and like have some coffee.
I know this is hard.
A little bit,
I don't need you to fully believe me, but I'm gonna have you see this for yourself. When you get a chance, go down to the docks and notice that there's going to be a series of crates.
Which docks?
The ones, the Buccaneer docks.
The Buccaneer Way? Okay, yeah, I can head down there.
And you're going to notice that there's a corporation there.
Lando Corp?
Yes.
Oh, I know all about Lando Corp.
Lando did not. Lando didn't. It wasn't Lando's tech. At least not this one.
What, that sent you back in time? It wasn't Lando's tech?
We thought it was. It was unexpected, but listen, Springfield saw it. You can look at the reports. You can ask others about it.
Listen, I believe you, Brian. Okay, I believe you. You don't need to convince me.
We thought he had figured out how to get it to work again, but it wasn't him that made it work. It just worked because it was already fixed from 3 months ago. We don't know who did it, but at 1 second I was where I was, and the next second I was in the air. The next second these are my immediate memories, right? The next second I was over in an island off the East Coast, and the next second I found myself on a beach. The thing is, apparently at some point I had 13 alpha'd, and the entire police department went to the lighthouse. And then the next moment they come down to Polito, and they couldn't figure out how the fuck I went from one place to the other. And then as sort of time went on, I want you to imagine an experience where like a multi-day experience that your memory only consists of a few seconds. But as time goes on, you start to remember some of the fine details. It's check out Lando Corp.
Okay. I mean, I've seen the barges, I've seen the logos, I've seen the connection with Ness, and I've seen it all. I mean, he's run me through the ringer, you know, LSBN and all of it.
When you're alone, see if you can contact Spooderman.
Want me to contact Spooderman?
Yeah.
How the hell am I going to contact Spooderman? I don't have his number.
He'll know.
He'll know. Okay, so if I just... okay, all right. I will try it.
Couple hours after Tsunami, say, hey, Spooderman, I need you.
And he'll be there?
Eventually.
All right, I'll try it, Brian.
Okay.
I'll try to contact Spooderman.
Yeah. And
it's
whatever
okay to take
you
a
do,
day off, by the way.
If Lando Corp ever leads you to something, and I can't say the where or how because I don't know fully, just don't press the button.
Why not?
I don't know how much I fucked up. It may not have just been the News Corp shit.
You think you might have...
Not the News Corp, the news guy, right?
The news guy, right. Well, you know, the butterfly effect is pretty crazy, Brian, if you did in fact go back in time, so... What?
Yeah.
You need help?
Yeah.
Okay, come.
Thank you for letting me know, Brian. I'll do my best to follow through on everything. Make sure you send me that paperwork, okay?
Yes, I will.
All right, I'll talk to you soon, Brian, okay?
Take care.
Too.